Pit lane exit now open for FIM Supermoto qualifying practice.
Hello and welcome again to the time qualifying practice. My apology, time qualifying session for FIM Asia Supermoto Championship 2017 Round 1 in Thailand. Joining alongside with me, Mr. Barry Russell. How are you, Barry?
Very well, thank you, Mohsin. Welcome to Thailand.
Thank you. What can we expect from all these 17 riders during this time attack, this time qualification session?
Yeah, well, we've got 17 riders from 12 countries, and there's a group of extremely fast riders. Maybe five or six riders are capable of winning this. We saw in the first practice session the very fast boys went straight out. Lewis Cornish from Great Britain pulled out a lap of 1:21.767. And he was almost a second quicker than the next rider. That was Marcel van Drunen from the Netherlands. I spoke with Lewis a little bit earlier, and he said, "I'm not sure what happened. I just hung it out a bit extra on one lap." And I was amazed. I was amazed at the time. Trakan Tangtong, the local Thai rider who was champion in FIM Asia Supermoto champion in 2015. He was third on a 1:23, and the 2016 champion was the next one after him. And interestingly, in fifth place was a Thai wildcard called Natapak. I'm just going to use his first name because his second name is very long. And he ended up in fifth in that last section. The riders are on track now. The track is a lot drier than it was this morning because we had very heavy overnight rain. So those times we can expect to come down significantly in the heat of this the competition of this qualifying session.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, the pit lane has now opened. Most of the riders are now in the track in the circuit. Much focus should be on Lewis Cornish. Could he handle the expectation?
I think he's more than capable of handling the expectations, as well as being a very fast established racer in Great Britain. He's also competed in the European Championships, and this year is also competing in the American and the French Supermoto Championship. So he's a busy boy. Last weekend he was in France. I think he finished second and third in the two races there. So he won't be surprising himself too much. But he knows that Trakan and Gabit are very strong, and now we can see the Dutchman Marcel, let's call him the Flying Dutchman. He's definitely going to be up there for this weekend.
Well, Barry, I reckon the same. I reckon 4 riders, 4 cornered fight between Lewis, Marcel, Gabit, and Trakan.
Yeah, agree.
Between these 4, I believe there's not much difference. In fact, if you could see on the time that they gained during the free practice, it's just like 1 to 2 seconds between them. And let's see after this formation lap, after this flying lap, on the timing. Right now on the screen is Lin Chin Pei from Taipei. A total of 17 riders. That's an enormous talent. I would say we have Well, Barry, it's not so surprised. Gabit has just clocked one of the best time now. It's 1:19.
Yeah, 1:19, and that's 2 seconds faster than the top free practice time we saw this morning. Of course, was set by Britain's this morning. Very early days of the session. The times are tumbling now. You can see, whereas there are very few people in the 125 range this morning. The 125s go now down all the way to P8. So we are going to see on this drying track, we are going to see some much faster times.
Yeah, right now following closely in P2. On P2, Natapat riding on bike number 28, 120. I believe Natapat could do some surprise during the race 1 and race 2 tomorrow. What do you reckon, Barry?
Yeah, he doesn't seem overwhelmed by the quality of the competition he's up against, and got stuck in. Maybe nobody's told him it's difficult to race at this level.
Perhaps as a local talent, local rider, the track and circuit is a bit familiar to him.
Yeah, the surroundings will be familiar to him. The track has only come together in the last few days, so I think we should be giving him full credit at the moment for what he's doing out there.
Top 4 riders that we reckon: Trakan, Gabit, Marcel, and Lewis. From the timing, we could see riding on 17, bike number 17, Marcel. He just clocked 1:28. Not a good time of him compared to the free practice session.
Yeah, perhaps it seemed like Marcel excelled in the more difficult muddy conditions this morning, because his background is in motocross. So now the track's drier. He's not even up to his he's nowhere near actually his free practice time yet. So maybe he's trying to maybe he's playing with the bike. That would be my guess. He's a very experienced guy, by far the most experienced rider out there. So my guess would be that he's experimenting with his bike at the moment.
Naoto Takayama, bike number 300. He's reaching 120. I think he's going to break the 120 barrier. This one we are riding with Gabit. Still leading the pack with 118.
Yeah, it seems as though these drier conditions are opening up the competition a bit, and a few more riders who were much further down the timesheets this morning are showing.
Good jump, nice jump from Gabit, level top.
Oh, we got a red flag. It's a crasher on the first dirt section.
On the dirt chicane.
Yeah.
From my view, I could see
on the dirt.
there's a crash.
Yeah. So it's been pushed off the track.
Hopefully the rider is okay. Barry, having seen that this course is pretty much unusual, what's your opinion on the first dirt chicane?
Yeah, the first dirt chicane is that's a lot of fun actually, because the bikes are coming down the straight on the road racing track at full pelt, maybe doing 120 or 130 kilometers an hour, and then they're sliding into that, and then sliding back out. So it's a very fast transition. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It's about six seconds on that dirt section before they slide out again back onto the tarmac.
Yeah, from what I see, it's really like a test of resolve and resilience of the riders. I mean, having get off from the tarmac, entering the chicane at such a high speed, performing the power slide.
That's right, and what they're trying to do is to keep the as much momentum going as possible. So when they come back onto the track, they hit it as fast as possible.
Now we are riding with Philippines rider Kenneth San Andres, performing quite well. The free practice session.
Yeah, free practice he showed pretty well. He's a pretty laid-back character. He did 1:28. That was a pretty good time in a sort of discovery 20-minute practice session this morning. So he's going to be looking good in the. He must be aiming for a top 6 finish, I would think.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, this is a 30-minute time qualifying FIM Asia Supermoto Championship 2017 round 1 happening now in Bangkok. The event is promoted by Asia Super Sports Group ASG, supported by Malaysia Major Events, the Ministry of Tourism and Culture by Malaysia, the Bike Nation, E+ Global, and among the media partners, Trade My Superbike, TX Sports, and it's also sanctioned by FMSCT. Not to forget the Ben Shari Blogger Club. All these supports and partnerships, we reckon, generate the hype and support required for the event. And right now, the Flying Dutchman. What's your opinion, Barry?
Yeah, I was watching that as you were talking, and I thought, oh well, the Flying Dutchman has taken off again, and he's come straight in with a 1:17.8 to go from nowhere on the timesheets to the very top, and he's half a second clear of Gabit. So whatever he was doing in the early stages, maybe a bit of experimentation with his bike, he's happy with it now.
Yeah, I kind of agree. The Flying Dutchman is performing well above expectation, actually. He's a bit seasoned.
It's a what?
He's a bit seasoned, I believe.
Yeah.
Looking at his track records, you cannot underestimate him.
He's very well seasoned, and we were talking about him before we went live, and his CV is impressive to say the least, and goes as far back as 1989 before it falls. I think probably it goes back longer than that. But in 1991, he was 6th in the World Motocross Championship.
Yeah, that record speaks for itself. Right now, at the age of 47, he's competing with a young blood like Gabit,
Yeah,
Roy from Singapore.
absolutely. But he strolls around. He looks calm. He knows what he can do, and he's enjoying himself.
Well, much attention right now. Lewis Cornish riding on bike number 8. He has broke into 1:17 gap as well. Now these two riders, Lewis Cornish and Marcel, both are on 1:17. Can we expect Gabit to go 1:16?
I think we probably can. I mean, the difference is coming down to much smaller gaps now. So Lewis just went 1/10 quicker than Marcel. So I think they're finding that the 1:17s are probably where it's at the moment. But who knows? Lewis Cornish pulled out a fantastic lap this morning, went 3 seconds quicker than everybody else. I just get the impression now that they're finding the pace, and that pace for the front runners is around 1:17s. If somebody gets into the 1:16s,
That's going to be exciting.
then it's really game on. Yeah, absolutely.
Right now, two riders, much focus on this Lewis Cornish and Marcel, followed closely by Gabit on 1:18, and Trakan Tantong riding on bike number 5. He also on 1:18. As I said earlier, we are reckoning 4 cornered fight between all these 4 top riders. And I just learned that we have a Super Chrono qualifying session in this Supermoto format. Would you like enlighten us on that, Barry?
Yeah. So straight after this qualifying session, the fastest 6 riders will go out for a further timed qualifying session of 10 minutes.
Okay.
And the order that they finish in will determine the first 6 places on the starting grid tomorrow. So it's like they do in World Superbike, have the how they do Superpole or in Formula One, how they have the second qualifying session. So it's the fastest 6 go through, and their performance in that session determines where they start, and then numbers 7 down to the back of the grid, they'll fall in the order determined by the qualifying times they're achieving right now.
Surprise, surprise! Lewis Cornish has just run 1:15 on the track, Barry.
Yep, so don't listen to me anymore. I said 1:17 seemed to be about the right pace, but Lewis Cornish has obviously, as he would put it, hung it out again, and he's nicked 2 seconds off everybody else. So what a fantastic effort that was. Behind him is Marcel. He's on 1:17.3, and then it's Gabit on 1:18.3, and Trakan on 1:18.4. So it's still pretty tight.
If you could see on the top 6 list, Natapad with 120. I think he's just maintaining himself to be in the top 6 before performing better in the Super Chrono. Would you reckon that?
Yeah, it would be great to see a local wildcard in Super Chrono. So hopefully he can maintain that. He's got some competition from the quickest of the Japanese riders there. Number 300, Naoto Takayama. So let's see, that number 6, 7 and 8, they're pretty tightly packed. So the final position for Super Chrono is going to be quite hard fought, I think. Worth keeping an eye on.
Yeah, Barry. Between Takayama and Kenneth from Philippines, just 0.9 seconds between Takayama and Kenneth. I would say there's a few more minutes, few more laps could be performed. The riders are gathering pace. This is Sasaki right now on the first dirt chicane.
Yeah, Sasaki, we can expect to see a bit more from him, I think. He went very well. He was top 3 finisher last time I watched FIM Asia's Supermoto race. He's a very quick man, so he should be able to improve from where he is now.
As we discussed before, the dark horses, I believe we cannot discount out these Japanese riders as well. These are the dark horses of the tournament as well, of the event.
Yeah, the approach is often that they will come through progressively rather than just come out of the box very, very fast. So they're finding their way around, and the times now are looking much better. So if they can push themselves into Super Chrono, they've still got more than 10 minutes of this session to go. So I think we're going to see a few more surprises, and in that, and a good battle for that final spot in Super Chrono.
One of the crowd favorite, Hasroy from Singapore. Hasroy Osman, bike number 77. He is the local favorite based on the crowd reaction here. However, from the free practice, I'm not sure what happened to him. we should expect better performance in the last 10 minutes from Hasroy. And this is Gabit on his bike. Nice sharp turn. Gabit on bike number 1, good jump. Muhammad Habibullah, the reigning champion of 2016 FIM Asia Supermoto.
Yeah, and just watching how he approached that, he took the full double jump, and then he went backed the bike right into the edge of that bank turn, and then fired himself out from there like a catapult. So he's found the quick way around that. I can see some other riders taking narrower lines, tighter lines around there, but I would tend to go with Gabit's strategy, if you're good enough. So no change at the top for a little while now.
Yeah, still Lewis, followed by Marcel. Gabit yet to break the 118 barrier. Power slide by Gabit.
Gabit very fast through that dirt chicane.
You can see how he approached tabletop. Good jump.
Yeah, he's taking a tight line.
I cannot wait to see the real battle. I would say the final battle in the Super Chrono.
Yeah.
And all these 4 riders: Lewis, Marcel, Gabit, as well as Trakan. 4 riders from 4 different countries.
Yeah, exactly, and that's how it should be ideally. Wide range of competition, wide range of skills. We've got motocrossers, we got road racers here, and with only 6 bikes on the track, we'll be able to compare the styles a bit more easily than when the track's full like it is now.
This is Artem Teslenko from Russia. His best time during the free practice was 1:36. Right now, he managed to better by 10 to 12 seconds. Some of the technical experts, some of the ex-racers or some of the experts of the industry mentioning that these kind of courses, these kind of tracks suited European races more. Would you agree with that, Barry?
This type of track, to the extent that it's got more off-road section, yeah, I would agree with that. And if you look at the backgrounds of the European riders that are here, with the notable exception of Lewis Cornish, they have much more of a background in motocross than road racing.
Lewis Cornish still leading the time table with more than 2 seconds.
Yeah, he may be happy with that ahead of Super Chrono.
As for the Super Chrono qualifying session, only the top 6 will continue.
That's right. So we're still looking at the same order for 5, 6 and 7. We've got number 32, Kari Zakaria from Malaysia. He's been going well, and we probably haven't mentioned him enough. And we've got wildcard Dr. Pat, and the faster of the 2 Japanese riders, Naoto Takayama.
I would love to see Takayama and Sasaki to do something. We still have like less than 5 minutes. Looking at the table, these two Japanese riders are climbing up. Sasaki just moved to 8th place.
Yeah, that's good. He's come now within half a second of his compatriot. And number 28, the local wild card, Watapat. He's put in a very good time, but he hasn't improved for a while. So he needs to be looking over his shoulder at these two Japanese guys.
And here we are, riding with Prakan Tantong, local favorite, the champion of FIM Asia Supermoto 2015 season. He's now making comeback for FIM Asia Supermoto 2017. As I mentioned earlier during this morning, during the free practice, we are expecting, we are anticipating, we are reckoning the duel between Trakan and Gabit Abibullah from Malaysia. Good jump by Trakan. Most of these top riders, they have preference to have a tight line, taking the chicane, taking the dirt turn.
Yeah, I think that's right. It was notable that Gabit was going right to the top of the banking and then firing himself out. But I've since been watching the rest of the quick riders, and they are taking a tight line around there. It's technically easier, so you might as well just take the tight line. It's a shorter distance. You can see some clouds bubbling up just to the left of our position here, but I think we'll be okay for this session and Super Chrono. The weather, of course, will make a huge difference. Okay.
This is the guy that I just mentioned, Barry, Hasroy Osman from Singapore. During the free practice yesterday, I would say I'm personally impressive with this guy. This guy performance was really impressive. I was impressed actually.
Yeah, he's got a nice style. He hasn't turned it into a qualifying time yet.
Can he nick himself inside the top 6 within the last 2 minutes of the qualifying?
Yeah, so he's got a bit of a jump to make, but what does he need? 1.5 seconds. And there you see the rider trying to fire himself off the top of the banking there, and he's messed it up completely, I think.
Yeah, Takayama.
Yeah.
Let's see, Hasroy new time. I reckon he could reduce by a few seconds.
Yeah, let's hope he does. Be good to see him. Good to see him higher.
From what I see, all top 6 rider has now entered the pit lane. I would say we have a solid top 6 right now.
Yeah, that's it. Checkered flag's been shown.
And here we go. The top 3 of the qualifying FIM Asia Supermoto. Let's begin with the first place, Lewis Cornish with 115, followed closely by Marcel van Drunen from Netherlands, 117. Habibullah, last season reigning champion, and Trakan at 4th place, followed by Khairi Zakaria, also from Malaysia. And we have local favorite, local wildcard, Natapat Suksanwatana with 120.18 from Thailand. And the back markers, Sang YK, Hong Kong, the last one with 142. I would say all these back markers, you cannot just discount them out immediately. I would say much focus on Artem Teslenko and Hasroy Osman. Artem from Russia and Hasroy from Singapore. These two riders could be among the dark horses, could be the one who could disrupt, or could be the one who take the championship tomorrow.
Yeah, so far what we've seen is that it's very open. So now the top 6 from that session.
And right now we are preparing ourselves for the Super Chrono. Ladies and gentlemen, stay tuned. Super Chrono will begin in 10 minutes.
The first six qualifiers from the session is just
Super Chrono session.
บ่าย3:30 น.นะครับจะเป็นรถ FIM ดูซูเปอร์แอดเวนเจอร์500 800ครับของแรลลี่นะครับทำการซ้อมอีกทีนะครับประมาณ20 นาที25 นาทีนะครับเป็นการซ้อมของรุ่นลุกซูเปอร์แอดเวนเจอร์500 800ของแรลลี่นะครับมีต้องท่านให้พร้อมด้วยนะครับทำการซ้อมในเวลา 15:30 นาทีนะครับ Pit lane will open in 1 minute for the start of Supermoto. First 6 bikes from FIM Asia Supermoto. Please proceed to pit lane exit. Pit lane exit is now open for FIM Asia Supermoto. Riders, you have 10 minutes.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, the pit lane exit has opened at Nakhon Chai Si Thailand circuit. So Supermoto session for FIM Asia Supermoto Championship 2017 round 1 is about to begin anytime soon. We have top 6 riders. They are going to compete in this Supermoto session, led by Lewis Cornish from British. He's a British. Followed by the Flying Dutchman Marcel van Drunen and Muhammad Habibullah Gabit from Malaysia, Trakan Tantong from Thailand, and this Khairi Zakaria from Malaysia. Last but not least, the last spot, the 6th place goes to Natapat Suksan Watana, local wildcard, I believe, buried.
Yep, he's a local rider. He entered yesterday. And he's come in with a bang, it's fair to say.
How does the FIM Asia Supermoto Supermoto session will be held?
Now the riders will go out. They will each find themselves some space on the track and just try and put their best possible lap times in.
So in a total of 20 minutes, let's see who's going to get the pole position for tomorrow's race.
Yeah, that's the excitement of this format. And it'll be the first 6 positions, of course, determined by this. So the riders are going out again. There's a bit of tidying up of the track, but of course to our to the right of this commentary box and facing into the wind, we can see some big black clouds coming over. Yeah. So I think it's going to be important. If I was one of these guys now, I would be looking to put in a very early, maybe on my second lap, I would want to put in a very fast time and bank it, because the rain could come in the next 5 minutes.
Well, it's still dry and windy at Nakhon Chai Si Thailand circuit, Bangkok, Thailand. We're anticipating all these 6 riders to be ready any minute soon. All 6 riders are already in the track. those who just joined us, this is the Super Chrono session of round 1 FIM Asia Supermoto Championship 2017, promoted by ASG Asia Super Sports Group. And these are the top 6 riders gaining the best 6 times from the qualifying held earlier this afternoon. Right now, it's Natawat. Natapat Suksanwatana, local favorite.
Yeah, the riders are coming in for their first flying lap now, so we'll start to see some times. With the threatening black clouds, I expect to see some people pulling out the stops very early in the session, very early in this short session.
Riding on the screen now is Trakan Tantong on bike number 5. He's really gathering his pace now. I reckon Trakan could commit himself to better the 118 he just recorded during the qualifying.
Yeah, Trakan, a very, very fast rider. He's young, early 20s, but he's very experienced and got a whole load of Supercross championships in Thailand. He's got the FIM Asia Supermoto title in 2015. So he won't be hanging around. He knows exactly what to do. And he's very good off-road and in difficult conditions.
Well, Barry, the first batch of information, the first batch of time has just came in. The Flying Dutchman, Marcel, just recorded 1:16, followed closely by Lewis Cornish, 1:17, in the nick of 0.5 seconds, followed closely by Gabit, riding on the screen now. And Trakan Tantong, still on 180.
We got a time in for number 32 now, Kerry Zakaria. That was a slow first lap for him, 1:39. But the first 5 at the moment are separated by 5 seconds, and I think that that margin will shrink significantly.
Lewis has just managed to gain the top place, P1 by Lewis. 1:15. He did 1:15.8 just now during the qualifying, and now he's reaching 1:15.6. I reckon sooner or later Gabit and Trakan could follow suit.
Yeah, I think so. They've definitely got their business heads on now. Gabit in the dirt section now, second dirt section. Tight line, fires it out. Over the jump. Nice quick transition onto the tarmac out of that second section.
Well, Barry, I have to say this, I just love the way all these 6 riders taking on the dirt section. They're just like effortless. They handle the dirt section.
Yeah, that's the difference. The very fast riders, they make the transition look easy. To be fair, it's a little bit easier when the conditions are like this, nice and dry.
Lewis still leading the Super Chrono time attack qualifying session by 1:15. He held 1 second between him and Marcel.
Yep, and I see that Zakaria has improved his time as well. He's still a long way behind the first 5, so he hasn't quite found his groove in this Super Chrono session, but the others are very much on it. And I think that Natapat's time improvement. Yeah, he's improved by it's almost half a second from his qualifying time.
Good jump, good handling by Trakan. Riding on board, heading out a straight line to the second hairpin.
Yeah, this section of the circuit is perfect for Supermoto. It's a selection of really tight turns.
You can see how Trakan, good hand control, effortlessly completed the third section of the dirt.
Yeah, you can see the quality of Trakan in that clip.
We still have more than 10 minutes remaining in the Supercross session. Lewis Cornish still at P1 with 1:15.297. In fact, this is his best time for this course, for this track circuit.
And that's more than 1.7 seconds faster, and that's a checkered flag for the session. So that looks like it's going to be the order.
We got confirmation that this is a checkered flag. The Supercross session has ended, and we shall await the official result from the steward and the time control. Based on the information that we have, Lewis Cornish top. Now it's confirmed Lewis Cornish is P1 for tomorrow's race. Lewis Cornish riding on bike number 8 from Great Britain with 1:15.297. Perhaps he bettered his record during the qualifying, followed by Gabit 1:16, and the 47 years old, the Flying Dutchman, Marcel. He earned my respect. A bit showboating there on the track. Let us not forget Trakan Tantong at P4 with 1:17, and Khairi Zakaria still maintained at P5 with 1:19, and Natapat Suksanwatana, the wildcard as we mentioned before, at P6 with 1:19.
Yeah, in fact, from the qualifying session, the only change of positions was a switch between Marcel van Drunen, the Flying Dutchman, and Gabiet, who traded second and third places. Trakan again in fourth place, very close behind. He's 0.4 seconds behind, and it was good to see Zakaria, the Malaysian rider, come back up in that session after a few slow laps, and put in a 1:19.2 at the end. And the final qualifier, Natapat, was also under 1 minute 20 seconds. So very good effort by all those guys.
Well, Barry, we have 2 championship winners for the top 6, and we have 2 championship winners in the form of Habibullah from Malaysia, Gabit, and Trakan Tantong, the 2015 championship winner, both on top 6 for tomorrow race. Ladies and gentlemen, tomorrow race Moto 1 for FIM Asia Supermoto, scheduled at 12 p.m. local time, and race Moto 2 at 2 p.m. local time. What do you reckon, Barry, tomorrow?
I'm just looking at this, and what you have here is 4 experienced, established champions from Britain, from Malaysia, from the Netherlands, and from Thailand. All these guys have the confidence of champions. They have the application of champions. They've all worked very hard for this. Although Marcel tends to look like he's strolling, but he's entitled to do that at his age. Bless him.
Yeah, perhaps he's saving something for tomorrow.
But make no mistake, when he gets his race face on, there won't be any quarter asked or given. it could go any way. All I would say, and this is not because I'm British, is that Lewis Cornish has just held an edge throughout this qualifying and Supermoto session today. So he has to start favourite, but let's see what happens in the race. 20 minutes plus 2 laps is a long time.
Well, Barry, on the last note, as you can see on the screen right now, is on the weather condition. It's kind of a surprise change of weather. Can a wet weather plays a factor tomorrow?
The wet weather certainly can play a factor, and it will favour the motocross type riders. So specifically, that would favour Marcel. It would favour Trakan. But let's see. I mean, the quality of those top 6 riders is absolutely superb, and the top 4 in particular. So let's just see. It would be. I wouldn't bet on this.
Well,
maybe one for the Brits. That's it.
Well, that's the unique features of Supermoto, I believe, on the road racing and the dirt racing aspect. With a critical weather condition could play a factor. And ladies and gentlemen, those watching from Bangkok and local, you are most welcome to come to Nakhon Chai Si Thailand circuit, located at the outskirts of Bangkok. And those watching from Malaysia, Singapore, Indonesia, Hong Kong, as far as China and Russia, we'd like to thank your support. Stay tuned for tomorrow's program. And I would like to repeat, we have 17 riders from 12 countries. This is an achievement, I believe, for FIM Asia Supermoto Championship, coming to its 3rd year running. While Barry, I must say that we have a mixture of Europe and Asian riders. One last note. How do you compare the performance between these two, I would say, continental riders?
That's a killer question to round off the broadcast. But you can see, I think, with Trakan, let's take him as and Gabit. Those guys are capable of winning anywhere. Habibullah, I haven't followed as closely, but because I'm based in Thailand, Trakan I've seen, and he's entered as a wild card in the Thai round of the Motocross World Championship. He's been to the Motocross of Nations, and so he's got real international experience. So I think once you reach a certain level, and I would say that is Trakan's level, whether it's European or whether it's Asian, I don't think it's going to matter too much. And let's not forget, some of those Japanese riders could come through in the race too. This was only about the first 6 positions on the grid. When the red lights go out tomorrow and they race for 20 laps plus, then let's see what happens.
Well, it's good to hear that. Alongside with me is Mr. Barry Russell. Myself is Muhammad Mohsin from Malaysia, Barry from United Kingdom. I would say Lewis Cornish stands an excellent chance for tomorrow. Habibullah, Gabit, Trakan, Khairi, Natapat Sukanwatana, and Marcel. We would like to wish all the best for all riders for 2 races tomorrow. There's Race Moto 1 scheduled at 12 p.m. and Race Moto 2 scheduled at 2 p.m. Both races will be streaming live from Facebook, YouTube, and we do have our own TV channel, 23.tv. And do not forget the hashtag FIM Asia Supermoto Championship. Well, ladies and gentlemen, thank you for watching. Thank you for staying tuned with this channel. Thank you for being with us during this live streaming of Round 1 FIM Asia Supermoto Championship 2017. We still have live program for tomorrow. Again, 12 p.m. and 2 p.m. for the race 1 and race 2 of this Supermoto event. Thank you very much. See you guys tomorrow.
ตอนนี้ก็อยู่ช่วงของ R2M ลุคซุปเปอร์แอดเวนเจอร์500 800เป็น2และเป็นลี่นะครับ และเดี๋ยวจบจากรุ่นนี้นะครับจะเป็นรุ่นของ R2M Motorsport Academy นะครับสอนโดยนักปราชญ์นะครับนักศึกษานักเรียนสีตั้งแต่4 โมงเย็นจนถึง4 โมง 40นะครับสำหรับ R2M Motorsport Academy แล้วก็สุดท้ายของวันนี้นะครับแต่เวลา 17 นาฬิกานะครับจนถึง 17 นาฬิกา 20 นาทีนะครับจะเป็นฟรีแพคทิสนะครับสามารถลงได้ทุกรุ่นนะครับแล้วก็ฟรีแพคทิสรวมกันนะครับในเวลา 5 นาฬิกา 20 นาทีนะครับเป็นฟรีแพคทิสถ้าใครมาซ้อมตอนเช้าไม่ทันนะครับตอนนี้ก็เป็นโอกาสของท่านแล้วแค่ฝนไม่ตกก็มันเองเราเป็นเองได้ไม่มาแล้วก็พาที่มันด้วย20 นาทีนะครับจะเป็นรุ่น R2M Motorsport Academy นะครับ มีหลายสองช่วงนะครับไม่แก้ทุนนะครับถ้าใครคิดว่าเนี่ยพอทำการไปเยอะแล้วช้าใครมาไม่ทันรอนะครับเราเปิดโอกาสให้นะครับ20 นาทีนะครับตั้งแต่5 โมงถึง5 โมง 20นะครับเป็นฟรีแพ็คทิสนะครับแล้วพรุ่งนี้นะครับเช้านี้ก็จะเป็นฟรีแพ็คทิสกันตั้งแต่ช่วง8 โมงเช้าเป็นต้นไปนะครับก็จะเริ่มแข่งรุ่นแรกในเวลาบ่าย2นะครับที่จะเป็นรุ่นไม่เต็มที่รุ่นแข่งนะครับบ้านด้วยทีแล้วก็เด็กเก็บไว้